Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me, everyone. And so I'm going to start by telling the story of Yo. So it's a really funny and crazy story. It all started in March. I was the co-founder and CTO of a startup, stock trading startup, and my partner in that startup asked me to do an app for him that has only one button. The whole app, the whole screen needs to have one button, and when he taps it, it sends a push notification to his assistant. He asked me how much time will it take you to make such an app? So I told him it takes me 2 hours because it's just one button and it does one thing. So he asked, can you do this app for me? And I said no, because I didn't have time. I was working so hard on my other startup, nights, weekends, and I didn't have 2 hours to put into an app that only one guy will use. So I told him I'm not going to do it. And then after 2 weeks, he came back to me and said, listen, it's really annoying to me. I'm sitting in a meeting and I'm always with people and I need to get my assistant into the room, and then I either call her or I text her. And if I text her, she texts me back, and then she texts me back. I have to open the message, I have to read it, I have to remove the badge. It's really annoying, and all I want is to call her. So can you make this app for me? So again, I told him, forget about it, I don't have time. But a day later, I had some time to think about it. I was driving my car, I had a long drive, and I thought about this app. And I thought about how would I make this app to be useful, not just for my partner, but for everyone. And then I remembered that I have a friend in LA that texts me he texts me the word yo, and I text him back the word yo. And then it hit me that this is the same kind of communication that my partner wanted with his assistant, because we're not saying anything, we're just sending a notification, but it's like communication, some kind of communication. And then I got really excited about it, and I started thinking about how to make this app and how to make this the simplest app ever and how to make it different. I've been making apps for 6 years, and we always do the same thing because of the guidelines. So Apple gives us guidelines how to make apps. And in that moment, I said, fuck all the rules. I want to break everything. I don't want Facebook. I don't want email. I don't want phone number. All I want to do is for someone to get inside the app, pick a username, and that's it. From then on, they can send yells and receive yells. So I got so excited that actually, while I was in my car, while I was standing in a red light, I bought the domain because you know how it is. You always think, oh my God, someone is probably thinking about the same idea somewhere around the world. So I gotta get this domain right away. And I thought about the branding and how yo can be a great branding. And then when I got home, I didn't say anything to my partner or to anyone. I just got into the computer and started writing code. And I looked for the easiest way to send push notifications. And I looked for I said, okay, let's make it flat design and flat colors. And I don't want to mess with Photoshop or icons or anything. So just flat colors, simple. Everything should be the simplest way possible. So 8 hours later, the app was ready. And then I sent it, first I sent it to my friend in LA that we owe each other. He obviously said it was stupid. And I obviously told him, wait, it's going to take over the world. And then I sent it to my partners. We had a WhatsApp group of the co-founders of the previous startup. And so three of them said, this is amazing, because it looked, first of all, it's different. It's different than all the other apps in the App Store. For one, it has a blank icon. I think this is the first app that was on the App Store that had a blank icon. I don't know if even there is a second one. So that's one. Second thing is that the name of the app is a part of the text in the push notification. The name of the app is Yo, and the text in the notification says Yo from or. So the Yo is a part of the notification. And the design is obviously very different from everything we know so far. So three of them went crazy for that. One of them said, this is the stupidest app you've ever seen, and Steve Jobs must be rolling in his stone. So we told him that he simply doesn't get it. And then he said, oh, okay, but add my Facebook friends on it. And then we said, no, I don't want to add Facebook on it. And then he said, okay, so why don't you add a few words that I can pick a word to send? And then we said, no, you don't get it. It's nothing. It's just yo. The whole point is that it's nothing but yo. And that yo means everything, because once you add, let's say, 3 words, then this app can say 3 words. But if you leave it just with yo, then yo needs to mean everything. So we got really excited about the app immediately when we came out with it. But it wasn't like I was gonna leave my other startup that I just founded 6 months ago, build the whole team. By then it was like 10 people working really hard on a really complicated product. So we released it to our friends, and we started seeing what's going on with it and how people react to it. And we've noticed that it's viral because once it's getting to an office, everybody downloads it. Everybody starts yelling each other. Whenever it gets into a group of people, everybody say, because it's so different, and it's so, some people think it's stupid, some people think it's not stupid, but everybody's talking about it all the time. So we saw there is a potential to it, so we decided to put it on the App Store. So we put it on the App Store on April, and it still wasn't the plan that I'm gonna leave stocks. So we put it on the App Store and we waited to see what's gonna happen with it. We saw it got some reaction. It wasn't like a big bang, like it never is. It never is that you think your app is the most viral app in the world, you put it in the App Store, nobody cares. That's the truth. This is the secret. Nobody cares about your app. You need to work really hard in marketing and in many things in order for people to get to know your app. So next thing that happened is that Arbel, which is a tech blogger from the Silicon Valley, came to Israel and met my partner Moshe. And Moshe showed him a bunch of startups. And by the way, I told him, show him yo, and he showed him yo, by the way, look at this app that we made in a weekend. And then Arbel wrote in his Facebook, he has like 600,000 followers on Facebook. And he wrote, actually this post he posted only to his friends. So only about 5,000 people saw it. He posted, I just saw the most stupid app, the stupidest, most addicting app in the world. And then it got picked up by Product Hunt. If you heard about this website, this new website, been around a few months, that is writing about new products. And by that time, we already thought about, okay, so I can send a yo to my friends, and my friends can send a yo to me, but let's release an API. So why can't I get a yo from my favorite soccer team when they score a goal? Why can't I get a yo from Starbucks when my coffee is ready? So if this is such a simple notification system, then let's give access to other things, to everything basically that can connect to the internet, and let's give a layer of push notification to everything. So we came up with a few examples. For example, so Product Hunt didn't have an app, but what if they want to send a push notification to their readers? So now they can, using the Yo API. What if there is some guy that has an ice cream truck that wants to send a push notification to the kids in the neighborhood when he comes to the neighborhood? He doesn't have an app, he doesn't have the budget to develop an app. Now, using the Yo app, he can use the Yo API and easily, within the app, he doesn't need to be a developer or anything. There is a dashboard. He just go to the dashboard, taps a button, and everyone, all the kids in the neighborhood that subscribe to him can get the push notification. This is like a new kind of push notification platform. And so when Product Hunt wrote about it, Product Hunt is a website that a lot of people from the tech community in San Francisco and in New York and in Silicon Valley are reading this website because this is exactly for them. It's about new startups, new products that are launched. So when Yo came on that, it made a lot of noise. It made a lot of noise because it was different. Just like we previously said, you make something different and people notice it. So people talked about it. They talked about how it's different UI, how it's obviously the simplest app ever, how it does only one thing, one very, very specific, simple thing, and it's an app. And the UI is very different. So when I saw all the tech people writing about it and commenting about it, I said, this is the time that we need to release an API. And it's funny, I want to say that whenever we saw an opportunity, we didn't wait. We said when we saw all the tech people talking about it, we released an API at the same night, which means we basically stayed up all night to write the API and to write the blog post that explains our vision. And a lot of things that we see in the process of how it went from where it was to where it is right now is by always pushing forward. We always push forward. We don't wait. We don't say, oh, okay, let's do it next week. Let's do it tomorrow. Oh, we are tired now. Let's do it let's wake up tomorrow. No, you do it right now. We do it right now. We always push forward. That's a lot of things about success has to do with the sense of urgency of doing things like right now, not waiting. And so when I woke up the next morning after we released the API, I got an email from a guy called Dave Morin, which is one of the first the first product guy on Facebook. Now he has his own social network called Path, and he's also an investor. And when I got his email, he said one sentence. He said, "This is so simple but brilliant, profound and brilliant." So he obviously got the idea. So a lot of people don't get it and think, oh, so it's a way to send Yo to my friends. No, it's a new kind of communication / notification platform. And when we saw that other people also get it, like in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, we said, all right, so we are not the only crazy people in the world. Other people can see the potential also. And and again, at the same day, what I replied to Dave, I replied, hey, guess what? I'm coming to San Francisco to meet a bunch of people. And the next day, I was on a flight to San Francisco. And I met a bunch of people that were interested in the product. And I also went to New York to meet with a company called BetterWorks that were interested. And after a week, came back to Israel. And when I came back to Israel, it was clear that there is a lot of potential over here, and I should leave stocks, because also another thing in that decision was that the team was strong enough by then to continue the company without me. And it was obvious to see that I should leave stocks and go to San Francisco and open a company that will create the Yo platform. So we raised money from a lot of Moshe, my partner. He knows a lot of investors by now. He already has an investment fund in Israel, and that's another funny thing. That in the newspaper it says that Yo was built in 8 hours, and that's a pretty funny headline. And how something that was built in 8 hours can raise $1 million. And I also get these questions from a lot of young entrepreneurs. They ask me, how did you make something in 8 hours and you raised $1 million? That's like you made $125,000 per hour. That's like a lot of money. And so one thing to understand is that, A, this money doesn't go to my pocket. It goes obviously to the company and to building a company and to pay to employees and to hire and to rent an office and everything. But that is probably something, a lot of people don't know that. The second thing is that it's not really true. Yo wasn't built in 8 hours. Yo was built in about 6 years. 6 years of very hard work by me and by my partner. So I've been working my ass off on developing apps and learning server-side and working weekends. A lot of times when my friends telling me, let's go party and let's do everything, so sometimes I go, sometimes I say no. This weekend, I want to learn how to develop Django, Python, server side. And it takes a lot of dedication, but I wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn how to do this and how to do this. So this all this time of learning. And the other part is my partner. My partner, in all these years, have been working on building companies, meeting with investors, getting to know investors already trusted. So obviously, whatever he comes up with, he can raise money with. Just like they said before, investor invest in people and not in anything else. Investor invest in people. So when me and my partner came to the investors and say, hey, we have a new product, it's called Yo, it doesn't even matter how many hours it took to make the app. Basically what matters is the people that have the vision and the ability to execute. That's what obviously investors are looking for. So that's one thing. And then, so we raised the money, and I came to San Francisco, and I started working from this co-workspace, looking for employees. I brought my laptop, so I bought a screen, and I bought a keyboard, and I bought a mouse. And I sat every day for 7 days, and starting to build this platform. After 7 days, being in San Francisco, I got phone calls from 2 reporters that heard about the Yo app and wanted to do an article about it. So one of the reporters took the angle of talking about how this new app took simplicity into the extreme, how this is a new kind of communication, and the app is very simple, and it's a very, very nice, etc. And the other article, the headline was saying, the stupidest app in the world raises $1 million. And obviously, all the press, from New York Times, BBC, Fox News, everyone picked up on that specific headline, which was saying how the stupidest app in the world raised $1 million. Of course, nobody talked about the API and how it's a notification platform and how businesses and everyone can leverage it. No, that's not good for the story. What's good for the story is the stupidest app in the world raises $1 million. And that was actually good for us, because that's what brought, obviously, all the attention of a lot of people, and that's what brought, in 4 days, 1 million downloads. So that was the time, it was in mid-June, when Yo exploded. And so Yo exploded, and everybody was writing about it. And I said, okay, so everybody's writing about it. It's probably going to be like that for a few days, I don't know, 3 days. And then it's going to sink down, and then I can get back to work and working on the platform, on the product itself. But it didn't, actually. It didn't. It was like a whole month, and even didn't die after 2 months of continuous articles. Every time there is something else, we could, just like I said before, we continuously pushed everything. Like every time we pushed something new. So then we pushed this, and then we got hacked. And then we pushed this little feature, and then we said this, and then we passed 100 million users, Yos, not users, sorry. So every time we continue pushing forward, doing stuff, actually executing, talking with people, and the press, people like reading about it, and the press like writing about it because of that. So that's basically how Yo started, and how it evolved, and how it changed, and how it grew. So from the user's perspective, we have added ability. We saw in the beginning, yes, people like to send Yo to each other. That's one use case, but that's not the only use case. So an app that sends Yo to your friends is a nice app, but it's not a $1 billion company. Once you add the ability, the API, once you are a platform, that everybody can use, then you can start talking about the potential, the big potential, and this is what basically brought all the attention of the tech people. Not the app that you can send a yo to your friend and he can send you a yo back. So the product evolved and we added the ability to send links, and now we have added the ability to send location. And so now I want to start talking about the API itself. So the API itself allows any developer in a very, very simple way. I don't think I ever saw a simpler API than that, to send push notifications and to receive notifications. So a user can trigger something using the Yo app on any server. So if you're a developer and you want to give users the ability to trigger something, you can use the Yo app to notify you. And if you want to notify users about something that is interesting, you can also use the Yo app and in one line send push notifications to either one person or to a few thousand people that subscribe to your service. And once we have added the link and the location, then we see unlimited possibilities of what you can do with it. You can get the user's location, and you can do something in the cloud, in a server, and you can process something, and you can also send back a result. So we are like a communication platform. We are a channel that puts all the heavy lifting is in the cloud, but for the user, it's a single tap. So your service can do something really heavy. The user, all he has to do is a single tap. So there are a lot of examples. The simplest example that I thought of is, let me know about the closest bar around me. So I created a service, and it took about 1 hour to do it. It's just a few lines of Python code, and it's open source. You can see it on the website. So when someone yos my service, I called it Yo Bar Me. I take the location of the user, I go to Yelp API, I ask for the closest bar, and I send the link to the closest bar back in a Yo to the user. So that's the simplest possible example I can think of. But you can do many things. You can order a taxi, you can order food, you can, some team in a hackathon did a hack that you sign up in a website, you say, this is the food I like, this is my address, and this is my credit card, and I order the same food every day, so I'm just gonna Yo, and I'm gonna get my food after 15 minutes. A lot of time we're doing the same thing over and over again, and with a platform like the Yo app, we can trigger such a service that does these things for me. All I have to do is just one tap. So these are the things that we are saying that can be useful for people. So we are looking at hackathons for people that want and can create these kind of useful services that people can go on the Yo index. So we put them on the Yo index, which is a list of these Yo services, and can say, oh, this is cool, I would totally use that. I would use that. I would totally sign up and I would use this service. I would Yo it, or it would Yo me. And it can become daily something that people actually use.
So we have like a minute left. Should we want to wrap up and we'll go for questions?
Okay, let's go. So basically, this is what I was practically finished. So when we talk about the API, we talk about all the possibilities that can be done, which is endless. And let's go to questions.
All right, who's got a question? No questions.
No question. Okay, cool.
I think we hit the stage where everyone's like on the Red Bull low.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so Yo from Manchester. I'll see you later.
All right, cool. Bye.
Bye.